Hi there, y'all. Welcome to Slow Flow and Meditation with Mindful Michael. So, like a nice, easy yoga flow today. I'm getting myself all set up. I'm trying to get my camera angle here. Let's see. I think it should be mostly fine here. It's these small studio apartments here in New York City. I tell you what. But I'm excited to flow today. So today I do have a blanket and two blocks. We are going to start standing and arrive slowly. So I'm going to give it some time before we get started with folks. And yeah, I don't know why I'm like crouching down. Maybe we'll come and sit together. So I will share with you that today I'm going through my own personal uh, injuries, limitations, whatever you want to call it. And so today is going to be that slow flow energy, pretty minimal as far as twisting goes. This will be about getting the hips and the spine to release and lengthen. So yeah, we're going to get started here, and I'm going to give it probably another minute or two before we get going. So yeah, so if you're new to me in my class, if you're joining us later on, my name is Mindful Michael, or aka Michael Clement. Michael Clement, aka Mindful Michael. And I'm a yoga and meditation instructor here in New York City. I'm also an astrologer, a Reiki healer, a tarot reader. I work with the metaphysics, and I like incorporating that into my yoga practice, but I like using my yoga practice to be the thing that makes this, that makes all of that meet the road, so to speak. All that rubber on the road. So yeah, so I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes and we'll get started. So yeah, if you are joining us, let's see. So for me and my day, where does this class land? So for me and my day, it's about 3 p.m. here in New York City time. I know it's noon in Arizona. So think about it this way. You've got your day in motion for a little bit. It's like we're arriving together on our mat. So that's what we'll be doing here in a minute. I do have with me, I don't have my blocks. My blocks are stowed away. So maybe the universe is telling me we don't need blocks today. We will be working low to the ground, so if you have sensitive knees, I recommend having a folded blanket nearby. It's great for that extra little padding and cushion. And make sure that you have, things like water and a towel. And I like having a folded blanket. If you are somebody who likes having blocks nearby, if you don't have blocks at home, but you have something like a big book, that'll do it. Or if you have something like something that's low to the ground, like a box or a crate, or maybe a coffee table nearby that you can have your mat near. And yeah, so today's flow, it's going to be a few short, small series of things to help open up the body, opening up the different channels of the body that tend to get a little stagnant during this transition into the warmer time period. Once we go from that cold air into the warm, it shifts the body. A lot of things start to thaw out, and old held places of tension will start to kind of ache as they release. And that's what's happening for a lot of people, I think, right now. So welcome in, y'all. Thanks for joining. So this will be easy flow and meditation with Mindful Michael. We're going to be using the breath in our meditation today. If you've meditated with me before, you know I love to use the breath in the body to keep you grounded in your meditation. I think it unlocks so much more. So today we will be starting standing, and I think it's time. It's just after 3, so we'll get started, and those folks who are meant to join us a little later, they'll probably meet us by the time we get down to Child's Pose. So we will come to stand, and I'm going to make some adjustments in my camera angles. Come to stand at the front of your mat, and you want your feet hip width apart. So we'll take this moment to feel this. You might not actually see my feet in this, but that's okay. Ooh, I'm all crooked. All right, there we go. So from here, I have a nice soft bend in my knees. My feet are hip width apart, and I'm taking a moment to make sure that everything is right underneath me. So take a moment and peek down, because sometimes we get disillusioned about that. You should have your feet parallel, and you should be able to be soft in the knees, heavy in the hips. So take a moment and place the backs of the hands right at the low back. Feel how everything can get heavy and soft and drop there. So I'm getting nice and grounded into the earth. We're going to take 3 breaths to ground ourselves and stabilize. You'll take an inhale, shoulders up by the ears. As you exhale, let that settle down. 2 more of those. Noticing all the tension in the side of the neck you bring in, exhale, let it soften. This time, as you bring the shoulders up by the ears, scrunch up the face too. And exhale, let that all go. So my knees are soft, my feet are flat. From here, I'm bringing my toes up off the ground towards my face. So now I just have the toes up towards the sky, and I'm gonna start to rock around a little bit. I'm looking to feel certain points in my feet. So while I'm rocking, you're gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna point this down so you can see a little bit clearer. From here, what I'm doing is I have my toes up towards the sky, I'm rocking around, so I'm feeling for the different points in my feet. I'm feeling for 4 points in each foot. There's the ball of the big toes, the outside knuckles of the little toes here, and then the 2 corners of the heels on either side. So while we're doing this, what we're doing is we're calibrating our energy. We're showing our body everywhere that the center of gravity can go over the base of support we create. And what we're feeling for are those 4 points and the extremes of it. So now, what I'm gonna have you do is feel for the place in your center of gravity where you're evenly distributed on all 4 points in each foot. And it's gonna be a lot further back than what you're used to. So what happens is this position of being equally distributed, it puts your weight a little more in the heels, and you might even start to almost feel this sort of rebound back behind you. So from here, you still have the toes lifted. We're gonna lengthen out, starting with the little toes. You're reaching long, lengthen out of the little toes and start to bring them towards the earth. The second toes follow suit, then the middle, then the index, then the big, and from here you're gonna grab and seal down into the earth. Feel that connection with your feet. Your arches should feel nice and lifted. You should feel that drawing up through the core, lengthening you. This is what the yogis call Padabandha. I almost said something different. So this is Padabandha. It means foot lock. This is groundedness. From here, feel the stability of your arrival. In this, we're going to build from here. So I'm going to bring it back up to bring so you can see my face. So now that I have this rootedness, I want you to feel that little rebound back behind you, how there's this little catch. The yogis say that this is the universe holding and supporting you. When you get too far forward and you get into a stressed state, it starts to tighten up the front of the hips, it starts to tighten up the low back and the hamstrings. Getting back in this space will naturally relax through the back body. It naturally draws the abdomen up and in. This is a nice place to be in your field. It calms you. So from here, let's bring the hands together. Take a big inhale in. As you exhale, soften, release the hands. Inhale, gather the hands up. Exhale, bow through, take your forward fold, hinging at the hips, bend in the knees as you need, nice and soft. From here, press into the feet, squeeze the glutes. My back is going towards straight, I'm going for a flat back here. So this is all flat, stabilized. My shoulders and hips, I'm widening in all directions, it's drawing the core up and in. As I exhale, I forward fold over. From here, take another halfway lift, big inhale. And as you exhale, you're gonna plant the hands and step back to your plank, reach nice and long along the mat. So from here, big inhale, lower yourself all the way down. From here, you're gonna take your forearms to make a little bed for yourself. The heels are falling away from each other. The legs are turning in. You're gonna rock the hips side to side. This is to relieve tension in the low back. You're long behind the neck and give yourself a little pillow. You might turn the head to either side, yogi's choice. This is dissipating, releasing the energy. Have you ever had a massage therapist come and rock your hips and go down the hips? This is the chance to dissipate. I have no tension in my feet, no tension in my toes, no tension in my hips. From here, I'm gonna release that rocking, let it peter out. And I'm gonna keep the pillow with my forearm on the left side here. My right arm is gonna reach back and grab a hold of my ankle while I bend the knee. So I'm just going for a nice little quad stretch. Drawing the heel towards my glute, my inner thigh is activated, so my knee is reaching towards the back of the mat. While I'm here, I'm thinking of drawing my hip up towards my face along the floor. It helps me open this whole outer band on that right side. Keeping long behind the neck, relax behind the ears and the jaw and the eyes. As you exhale, you're gonna gently release and switch sides. So switch the hand in front of you, switch the bend. Now you're holding on to the left ankle. The inner thigh is activated, knee reaching long, drawing the hip up towards the face, feeling that softens the jaw and relaxes the side of the neck. Super easy behind the eyes. Taking a big breath in. As you exhale, gently release. Hands come by the chest. You're gonna pick up the hips, And settle into your child's pose. Knees are nice and wide, toes touch, bow in. This is my favorite pose in all of yoga, and it will always be my favorite pose in all of yoga. At any point, you are welcome to come here. This is so good for releasing and rinsing out the hips. It gives you length in the spine, and it helps calm the body overall. So feel how the heart bows down into the earth. The knees are nice and wide so the torso can really fall through. And feel how you soften in the breath space. Relax in the low belly and invite in a deep inhale. Feel how that expands the whole back body. As you exhale, melt in all directions. On an inhale, walk your hands over to the right side edge of your mat. Nice and heavy through the left hip, long behind the neck. Soft behind the eyes. With an inhale, walk yourself through center, over to the left side. Soft through the left hip, or through the right hip. Take your breath in. Exhale out. From here, inhale, walk yourself back to center and soften. Inhale, pick up the hips. As you exhale, tuck the toes, find your down dog. Take the hips up and back, pedal through the feet. Nice and soft. Sitting into one hip versus the other, really articulating through the feet here. Enjoying every bit of this. This should be nice and delicious. And when it feels good and you're ready for some stillness, maybe you have a little bend in the knees. So if your hamstrings are tight, give the bend. Reach the hips up and back. Feel the length you get out of the body. And what does that offer you? So I want you to pay attention to what's happening in the wrists. If you're cupping in the palms, seal the whole hand down into the earth. Don't be timid about your connection to the ground. If you want the energy, you'll have to connect. Press the earth away overhead. Send the hips up and back. And let there be the bend. From here, think of your inner thighs spinning towards the wall behind you. This should open things up and out. You can push the earth away and make sure the shoulders are nice and soft on the back of the heart. Big inhale in. As you exhale, soften in the knees. You're going to pedal through the feet, walk them in towards the hands. Take your time and be chill. When you get to the top of the mat, you're in the forward fold. Nice and soft. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Use the bend in the knees if you need. Exhale, belly button to spine, drape over. From here, we're reverse swan diving. So squeeze the glutes, press through the feet, gather the hands up. As you exhale, take the hands to heart center, Samasthiti. You'll see my face again in a second. From here, leave the feet where they are. Take the chair pose, squeeze the glutes, sit it back, reach up overhead. Big inhale. As you exhale, hands come back to be like airplanes. So I'm pressing strong through the feet and I'm squeezing the glutes. It's gathering up my core. From here, I'm going to gather and lift. Big inhale, hands meet up high overhead. As you exhale, I'm going for cactus. Cactus looks like this in the upper body, but I'm standing tall instead. From here, interlace behind the hips. Roll the heart open, knuckles off the low back. As you exhale, bow forward, send the hands up and over. Big inhale into the back of the heart. As you exhale, gently release the hands forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank. From the plank, elbows stay in tight, lower all the way down. Untuck the toes. From here, take the cobra, shoulders on the back. Big inhale, lengthen to lift. Heavy and dead through those feet. Exhale, lengthen to lower down. Inhale, lift the hips. Knees wide, toes touch. Exhale, bow in. Nice inhale. Full exhale. Inhale, pick up the hips. Tuck the toes. Down dog. So from here, we're going to inhale, ripple forward to the plank. Long out the top of the head, draw up through the quads, reach out of the heels, and lower the left knee down to the mat. From here, I have my knee square on the earth. I'm going to spin my back heel down and bring my right hand behind the head. I'm coming to a nice little modified side plank. So this is also getting me nice length all the way through the right side of my body. I'm pressing strong through the left here. So feel how the tendency to collapse through the wrist or cup the palm. Press the hand strong. If you need to readjust to make sure it's under the shoulder, do so. From here, I'm lengthening out of this bottom facing side of the body. So notice how it's like a little hallway you've created. From here, maybe you want to extend the hand up. Maybe you want to lengthen out the top of the head. If it feels good, you press down into the earth, and maybe you lengthen to lift the back heel up off. Reaching through the glute, through the heel, flexing in the foot. The lengthening is what makes it nice and light. When you've had enough, gently lower it back down. Release the right hand back down to the earth, spin the back heel off. You're squeezing the glutes to lengthen. As you're lengthening up, you're still drawing the hip up towards the face, just like when you were on the earth. From here, you're gonna bend in the knee as if you're stamping the heel on the ceiling. As you exhale, draw forward, knee to nose. Let it be about the breath. Inhale, expand, send it up and back. Exhale, draws it forward. Take 2 more of these. Let the breath move it. If your breath pace is different from mine, that's okay. Go with yours. Exhale. Inhale, up and back. You're going to extend the leg. From here, you're carrying the leg out to the side, and you plant the foot on the earth right in line with this knee here. You're going to come on up nice and tall. We're going to gate pose. So crawl the fingertips down the right leg. Reach the left arm up and over. You're going for length as you go into the side bend. You're not collapsing down onto that hand. This whole side body's lengthening up and over. Feeling that reach, that softness. Feeling that slight rotation in the rib cage to help open the side body. From here, the hands come to meet you down on the mat. You're gonna flex in this right foot, and you're gonna sit back towards the heel in the back. So keep the flex long, walk the heart forward, bow in. So I want you to keep lengthening out this back line. I want you to think of folding up the left side body like a blanket and letting everything drain out that right heel into the earth. Relax through the back body. Relax through the fingertips. Let it all melt out. You've had enough. You're going to bring the hands in. You're going to pick up the hips, cheat the right knee in underneath you, and take your child's pose. But this time, knees will be together, and you will bring the backs of the hands by the hips, so bow in here like a little seed, like a little pebble, relaxing down. So your breath space might seem tighter at first. Like maybe you don't have anywhere to breathe to, but you have all of this space here. So take some time. Big inhales into the back of the lungs. Full exhales out. Full inhales in. Relaxing through the jaw and neck. From here, let's you come back up to hands and knees, and then you'll tuck the toes and find the down dog. Take that moment to pedal before you settle, and we'll take 3 breaths in our down dog before we get to the other side of our leg and hip opening. Take a big inhale in. Exhale down the backs of the legs. Maybe the heels melt towards the floor. Inhaling in. Exhaling out. Inhale up through the hands into the hips. Feel the height of that energy. Exhale, soften the heels. From here, inhale, ripple forward to the plank. As you exhale, lower the right knee down onto the earth. Spin the back heel down and bring the left hand behind the head here. So I'm pressing strong through the right side limbs into the earth, and my right side waist is what's lengthening. From here, I might send my left arm to the sky, and I might reach out of the crown and out of the back heel, lengthening to rise. This back glute to back heel is active and strong. I'm drawing up through my core. This is like a little half moon with a little bit like closer to the earth. When you've had enough, you're going to gently lengthen the lower down and bring the left hand down to the mat. Release the left heel off the ground. From here, activate the glute, kick out of the heel. Feel that length. You're still drawing the core up and in, so you don't want to be like collapsing through the back here. I'm still nice and lifted. From there, I'm going to bend in the knee to stamp the heel on the ceiling. My hip, the front of my left hip, is drawing up towards my face like I'm wearing a big suspender. Big inhale in. As you exhale, draw knee to nose. Inhale up and back. 2 more of these, drawing. Make it about pressing the limbs into the earth to press the breath out of the body. That'll draw the shin in towards the chest. That was the last one. Inhale up and back. You're straight the leg. And you're going to carry the leg over to the side and placing it in line with the knee here along the mat. So come on up, nice and strong. I'm going to cheat you. Wait here for a minute. Pressing down into the earth. Crawl the left fingertips down the side of the leg. I'm not collapsing the weight. I'm tracing the sky up and over with my right side. Press down through this knee, getting me into that gate pose. I'm thinking of rolling the rib cage open. It's creating more space, more length. I get a little sunlight on my face. Feeling the length out of the top of the head when you've had enough. Hands come to the earth. And then you're going to flex strong in that left foot and sit the hip back towards the heel, sending that length, folding up this whole meridian, the whole left line. Sending the energy, or the whole, sorry, this is your right side, I'm mirroring you. So your right side, draining out. Lengthening out through that left leg. So notice how this is tension that's held right here behind the back, and it's draining out through the upper body, out the hands, out the back of the neck, out the top of the head. And when you've had enough, you're gonna bring the hands in. You're gonna pick up the hips, sneak the left foot in underneath you this time. Wide knee child's pose, softening in. So take this time here, notice how the hips feel, if one is different than the other. You need to make adjustments to feel settled in. Taking a big breath. Full exhale out. From here, inhale, lift the hips, tuck the toes, and find your down dog. Taking your moment to pedal before you settle. From here, you'll take a big inhale in. Full exhale out. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Step, hop, or float to the top of the mat, take your forward fold. From here, you're gonna take your chair pose, sit it back, sweep it back, squeeze the glutes, press over, head nice and long. Big inhale in as you exhale. Take your forward fold. You're gonna send the right heel up and back for your standing split. Big inhale into the back heel. As you exhale, lower down for your lunge. Hanging out here, make sure you have where each foot has its own hip. You're gonna lower down the back knee, untuck the toe. If you want the blanket under the knee, great time to do that. From here, come on up for your crescent. Only going into the front of the hip as much as the low back will allow. You're so long back here, you're drawn up through the front body. When you're in there, take the hands up overhead, big inhale, shoulders are relaxed down. As you exhale, open to cactus. Feeling it wide across the palms, wide across the elbows, wide across the heart. Inhale, lifting the hands, shoulders slide down. Exhale, feel that opening. It comes from between the shoulder blades, lifting taller, gathering in and up so it blossoms open the torso. Last one here, nice and open. Soft throat, soft face. Take the hands to the earth. From here, you're shifting the hips back, going for that hamstring stretch. You're flexing the front foot, going for length here. You're welcome to start turning in and out in the hip to move the stretch to different parts of the hip and hamstring. See if you can keep the stretch focused in just the inner band of the hamstring by turning in slightly, and maybe just the outer band of the hamstring by turning in slightly. You'll know when you've gone too far by your breath cutting off. That icky feeling of tight muscles makes us stop and hold, and instead we can be open and free-flowing. From here, you're gonna rebend the knee, plant the foot strong, hands frame the front foot. We're tucking the back toe under, and from this low lunge, you're gonna spin the back heel down. Now notice, my back heel's at a 45-degree angle. When I look down at my mat, it actually looks like my feet are a little too close together. The heel lines right up with the middle of my arch. I want just a little bit more space than that, so I'm cheating out. And then I'm coming on up for my warrior one. Nice and strong here. Let me make my adjustment. Take the arms up high overhead. So, from here, nice and strong in this, send the tailbone down, let yourself soften for a minute. I want you to take the hands on the hips. Make sure the fronts of the hips, if each hip was its own headlight in a car, it would be facing straight forward towards the front of your mat, none of this corner stuff. Take the left hip back, send the right hip forward. From here, inhale, take the arms wide. You're gonna hug left elbow underneath right across the body. So if you can get fingertips to the shoulder blades, great. Relax the shoulders down, feel that lift. You're sealing the outside edge of the back foot, and maybe you're drawing up through the body, taking the elbows up towards the face if you want that opening. If you can take it to palm for Eagle Mudra, go for it. Slide the shoulders down, send the fingertips up, get the elbows off the heart. Feel that lift through the back body, that expansion. Slide the shoulders down, relax behind the eyes. When you've had enough, gently release and release the hands behind the hips. Big inhale, roll the heart open. As you exhale, bow the heart forward to the inside of this front leg. You're going for the humble warrior, sending the knuckles up and back. See if you can keep the heels of the hands together instead of separate like I was just doing. Keep the breath moving, drain out the top of the head. Big inhale in. As you exhale, gently release the hands. They frame the front foot. You're gonna release the right heel off, you're in the lunge. From here, it's gonna be a little tricky. You're sneaking this right foot down to the earth and coming to sit nice and easy. So from the seated position, you're gonna extend your right leg out in front of you, left leg stays bent, you're sitting tall. Let the knee fall open, the bottom of the foot is along the inside edge of the leg. Send the hips into the earth and reach the fingertips high, slide the shoulders down. From here, I'm reaching long out of my heel. If I need a bend in my knee, I'm okay with that, that's fine with me. You're gonna reach as far forward as you can, Then when you can't reach anymore, that's when you're allowed to relax over. But notice how long and lifted I stay through the back of my neck. I'm not asking for any trouble trying to get this stretch to move into my spine. I want to honor where I am every day, and even if I've been practicing yoga for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I honor that some days I wake up tight and that I need to approach it like I've been doing yoga for 5 minutes, and that's okay. Notice how your breath stays moving when you have this much space in the body. If you have open space for the breath to move, this pent-up energy can ride out on the breath, and you can be free of it. So from here, I've managed to distract you long enough that you've probably gotten quite far into the stretch. You're going to inhale, coming up nice and tall. From here, you're going to bend this knee. I'm going to scoot back a little so you can see me a little easier. I call this pose halo pose, but you might call it the hoop earring pose if you like. I'm going to have myself first come to mermaid, which means I'm facing now the top left corner of my mat, and my legs are draping like a beautiful mermaid tail over to my right. From here, I take my left hand, I'm coming for a side bend in my body, so I'm sweeping up and over. I'm going for this beautiful side bend, creating this nice crescent moon shape all the way up and over. I'm like curved over like this, for those of you who cannot tell. Feeling how this is almost like rolling the ribcage open, getting that space and expansion. From here, left hand traces the sky. I'm gonna take my hand and I'm just gonna rest on my hand along the diagonal like I'm sitting watching TV very sassily. From here, I'm gonna take this top leg, this right leg, I'm sliding it back. I'm creating a stag position in my legs. So when we get down into the stretch, if you wanna deepen the stretch, you're gonna take this top leg and slide it further along the circle for you. Once you're here, you're gonna lower down onto your forearm on this left side. So now you see the hoop earring we're creating, or the halo pose we're creating. From here, you're gonna look back over your left shoulder. So as you're turning back over your left shoulder, you're looking for the toes back there. And while you're doing that, you're sending the front of the hip forward here. So you might even take the hand on the hip and send the hip forward while you're looking back for the toes. And you're growing out the top of the head and out the tip of the toes back there. So you might slide further around. You see how it's like a hoop earring now, or a halo. I like it. Keeping the breath moving, feeling this whole line all the way from the big toe out through the temple on the right side. When you've had enough, you're gonna walk yourself around back to the front of your mat. From here, you're gonna come to sit, cross-legged, right leg is in front. Take a moment to resettle. From here, you're hinging at the hips, forward, bringing the heart as much as you can. Take a moment to bow in. When you are ready to bow in, you open the back and you soften. And you breathe into that back space. Let your hips be heavy. Feel how you melt down in all directions into the earth. Feel like you've kicked up the dirt and now you're breathing all of that chaotic energy down out of the body into the ground. And it feels good for you. You're going to come on up and release the hands and knees. So plant the hands, release the ankles and shins back behind you, and take some time to cat and cow. We haven't done that today. So inhale, sink the belly low, curl the tail and crown. Exhale, press the hands, belly button into the spine. Creating that shape. Being nice and light as you need. This is a chance to refresh, reset before we get going. So from here, you're gonna inhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, take your down dog, and we'll tackle all that, and that'll be the end of our active series. So you'll inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands, step, hop, or float your way up the mat, and take your forward fold at the top. From here, you bend in the knees, squeeze in the glutes, sit it back, sweep it back, take your chair pose, reaching the arms overhead, big inhale here. As you exhale, take the hands by the hips, shoulders on the back like an airplane. Big inhale, gather the arms up overhead, stand tall. As you exhale, take that cactus pose, press down into the feet, it opens the heart wide. From here, interlace the hands, take the other thumb on top. Roll the heart open, knuckles back and down. As you exhale, reach heart forward fold. Big inhale. Full exhale out, release the hands forward fold. Inhale, release the left foot up and back for your standing split. As you exhale, lower back for your lunge. Take a moment here before lowering the back knee down and untucking the toes. Make sure that you listen to the low back here. Send into the front of the hip only as feels good for you. From here, take the hands high overhead, slide the shoulders down. As you exhale, wide across the chest. Take 2 more of those. Relax the shoulders to lift the fingers. Exhale, release wide. Growing up into the heart space, yeah. Last one. From here, plant the hands, shift the hips back, take the lengthening in the hamstring, you're flexing in the foot. You're starting to turn in and out in that hip as feels good for you, or maybe you're fine stagnant here. This hip is so tight for me, I'm fine with this. Hip and hamstring. So again, if I have rounding in my spine, it's not gonna cut it. Bend the knee enough so that the spine can lengthen, the torso can lift. And then start to invite that turning out in the hip. Even if you have the bent knee, it still counts for something. You're thinking of pulling that hip back to encourage the stretch. When it feels good, you're gonna inhale, re-bend the knee, plant the hands strong, tuck the back toe under, lengthen out, spin the back heel down for warrior one. Make sure that you have the alignment you want. If you're good to go, you're good to go. And you come on up, reaching nice and tall. That outside edge of the foot sealed, right hip is back, left hip is forward. Headlights are straight ahead. From here, big inhale up. As you exhale, can you soften a little deeper into this pose? And if it feels good, you're gonna take the arms wide, right elbow hugs under left. So make sure you can get fingertips on the shoulder blades before you try to go into Eagle Mudra. You're relaxing shoulders down. If you want to be here, maybe you're taking elbows up over the face and drawing that nice and tall. Otherwise, maybe you go palm to palm, drive the fingertips up, slide the shoulders down, lift the elbows up off the heart space. Feel this nice easy opening here. Breathing into the back of the heart, feeling that lift. As you exhale, gently release the hands. Interlace the hands behind the hips. Take the other thumb than what you did originally on top, so whatever felt natural just now, switch it. Heart rolls open, big inhale. Exhale, heart bows forward and inside the legs. Send the hands up and over. Nice and easy here, making adjustments as feels good. So I'm still drawing my right hip back, my left hip forward. That activation does all my work for me, so I'm stable enough to let the heart fully release, to let the forward fold truly happen. Which is convenient, because I came all this way, I might as well, right? When you're ready, you'll gently release the hands. Plant it strong, release the back heel off. You're gonna lift the hips, slide that shin underneath, and come to sit. From here, extend the left leg nice and long. Right knee is bent, hip falls open here, sitting nice and tall. Reach out of the hands, then reach as far forward as you can. When you cannot reach anymore, keep nice and lengthened behind the neck. That's when you can soften into your forward fold. Easy, easy chill. So feel how that inhale inflates the body. Feel how the exhale softens the heart towards the thigh. And again, if you need the bend in the knee, you take the bend in the knee. I'm really active through my flexed foot. If you can't see it on the screen, it's active like this, just down on the earth. That reaching out of the heel is matched by the reach out of the hip. And when I'm ready, I'm gonna walk on up to sit tall. From here, I'm gonna bend both knees. I'm also gonna scoot back so you can see me better. And I'm coming to that mermaid pose on the left side. Or on the right side. So I'm sitting onto my right hip, my mermaid tail goes off to the left. I'm taking my right hand and I'm tracing the sky up and over for the side bend. I have my left hand on the earth here. I'm not collapsing down. I'm lifted and lengthening, feeling how as you extend along both ends of the line, it actually makes you lighter, more spacious, stronger. We're not just cultivating the flexibility, we're looking for the strength to support it. Take a big inhale, trace the sky. We're gonna come onto that right hand, so it's at that diagonal along the mat. This is my top right corner. This top leg slides around. I'm going for that beautiful stag position. From here, I'm gonna lower down onto my right elbow. So I have this beautiful long diagonal line running from that top left corner, back right corner here. Hand comes to the hip on the left side. I might use this to send the hip forward. As I look back over my shoulder, I'm looking back for those toes. In my peripheral, lengthening out the top of the head for this expansion, lengthening out the toes if I need to encourage the stretch. So I'm going for this line that runs all the way through the front of my hip, the front of my quad, all the way through my knee, all the way out my big toe. So that likewise runs all the way up through the heart, through the shoulder, out the neck. So keep those lines extended. Your breath moving full. Taking a big inhale. And as you exhale, when you're ready, you're gonna walk yourself back around to the front of your mat. You're gonna take your left leg and come to that cross-legged position, sitting super tall. You're sitting the heart forward, hinging at the hips, letting yourself come to that bowed over position. And we're gonna hang out here for a minute. I'm going to adjust the camera, bringing you in closer so we can hang out and finish this up. So we're gonna take a few more, final grounding, releasing poses, final grounded journey on our mat. And we'll take ourselves into that Shavasana to meditate. So from here, where are you? You're here. I'm gonna join you. Breathing into the space, right into the space in the low back here. See if your breath can inflate that area as you exhale. Feel how you're softening, putting things away. And walk yourself on up to sit tall. I'm gonna spin around to lower onto my mat so you can see my legs as they work. And you're gently lowering yourself down. You're hugging the knees into the chest nice and tight. Cross the ankles if you'd like. Drawing these circles, massaging the low back on the ground. Taking advantage of every piece of this. From here, what you're gonna do is we're going to release the feet down to the earth. They're outside of hip width apart. They're planted strong. You're flexing in the feet right at the ankles. Give yourself the windshield wiper side to side. This is all for the hips, for the pelvis. Nice and simple as we work. And if it feels good, you might leave the knees over to the right side for a minute. If this feels good, maybe you take the right foot and place it on top of the left knee. This will encourage some length out the front of the hip. Again, relax both shoulder blades down on the earth if you're choosing this particular iteration. If the knee is saying no, you have to listen. I'm gonna make a slight adjustment so you can see me a little better. You stay where you are. We'll get this all right one day. It's all right. So from here, you're here. Like maybe you're here with goalpost arms, that can help open the heart space. When you've had enough, gently release the foot off the knee. You're gonna give yourself a few windshield wipers side to side. Very chill, let yourself reset one side before you go over to the left. And when it feels good, you let the knees fall over to the left. And then if that feels good, left foot goes on top of right knee. It encourages that little bit of stretch. Nice and soft. If the knee says no, the knee says no, and you've gotta listen. Drawing your breath still full, all the way into the low belly. When you've had enough, release the foot off the knee, give yourself these wipers side to side, and we're going for one of my faves, cow face pose, but we're doing it laying on our back. So, I don't love the name, but I love the pose. What you're doing, if this is not for you, you have the option, you can take, actually, you know what, let's change it up. We're all gonna do this together, and then I'll give cow face pose at the end. So we're going to take figure 4. You're going to take the left heel up towards the sky. You turn out in the hip, cross the ankle over the thigh. Figure 4, nice and simple. Left hand goes between the thighs. You interlace the fingers either behind the hamstring or in front of the shin here. If that works for you, drawing the shoulders on the back, you start to pull the shape towards you. Elbow on that left side flares wide and gives you this bigger opening through the hip. You're nice and soft with your breathing. Notice if you're holding tension around the eyebrows, around the eye corners. Let that all go. Relax the jaw, relax the mouth, the teeth, the gums. Maybe wiggle the toes. When it feels good, you're gonna release that, lower the leg down. We'll switch sides. Taking the left or right leg up towards the sky, turning out, bringing the ankle bone, not the joint, on top of the thigh. Right hand goes between the legs, interlaced behind the hamstring or on top of shin. Drawing the shape closer, using this elbow to flare the knee open, or using the elbow to flare wide to help open the knee. Don't flare the knee open. Noticing how when that hip starts to let you know about the tightness, how does the rest of the body respond? Does the rest of the body join in that feeling of, or does it know to hold the tone of ease and opening? We'll see. When you've had enough of that, you'll gently release the shape down, send the heel up towards the sky, and place on the earth. So we're gonna go for that cow face pose. If you have other poses in your repertoire that you'd like to bring in at this time, feel free. This will be what I bring in for me. So I'm turning out, I'm going for Crossing the legs. So basically, like I'm just sitting crossing my knees. My goal will be to have the knees stacked so they're in line. From here, I'm going to bring the shape in towards the chest, and I'm grabbing a hold of the ankles on either side. So what I'm doing inside this pose is I'm bringing this towards me, and I'm creating the shape nice and wide here. If I was like from my angle here, I do see kind of a cow's face. It's like the two ears, and then like the face of the cow. You know, every time you're on a road trip and you're driving by, you see cows and you have to say, cows. Taking that moment to acknowledge. So this is opening both hips. I'm also going for nice length in the torso. As you exhale, you're going to gently release that, set them down to the earth. And we will very sassily switch sides. And when you're ready, you go forward. Other side of your Gomukhasana, your cow face pose. Drawing the shape in nice and close, keeping the heart nice and open. Only as much as it lets you. Again, we're not trying to force things and break the hips. We're listening closely to the body. And this isn't for you. You can go back to figure 4. Maybe you're hanging out with something different right now. Maybe you're taking a plow. Maybe you're taking a bridge, maybe a shoulder stand. From here, I'm going to release to happy baby. So I'm grabbing a hold of the outside edges of the feet. My knees go wider than the torso. This is about compressing my whole back into the earth. Instead of worrying about the hips so much, they'll open themselves. I'm worried about the whole spine getting length and ground. That's the best part of this. So when you've had enough of any of that, you're going to gently release and begin making your way to Shavasana. And so for Shavasana today, you have some options. You can be in the full corpse pose. That's awesome. I'm all about that. Or maybe you have where the feet are outside of hip, and maybe the toes are turning towards each other. Maybe the knees are falling in for that inward rotation. Or maybe likewise you have the outward rotation going, yogi's choice, and you can change your mind halfway through. Because even if I did make the rules, I can't see you. So hang out here and we'll begin to step into our Shavasana. I'm going to guide you in with the breath. So if you have your hands available, I'm going to hang out in full corpse. If you have the hands available, maybe you place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And our meditation today will be about the breath. So let yourself soften in. Feeling the weight of the back of your body as it melts into your mat. Feeling how the body and its effort begin to subside. Feeling how the momentum, the heat that you've gathered, the way that you've used it, it has changed you, and now you get to move in and settle into the new space. So as you arrive, begin to draw breaths all the way down into the hand on your belly. And on the exhales, feel the energy of ease melt over you. Continuing to breathe into the hand on the belly. Continuing to exhale with ease. Feeling the eye sockets relax. The eyelids get heavy. The mind resetting. Now more as you breathe into the hand on the belly, extend the breath into the hand on the chest, seeing if you can breathe into both hands at the same time. Feeling that expansive breath. The egg shape of your torso expanding and easing. Feeling the cool inhales, that fresh energy. The warm, soft exhales releasing out the old. Ease of breath. Ease of mind. Ease of space. And as you begin to breathe into the vessel for air, this torso shape, begin to breathe into the tight spaces that linger, that hang out between the shoulders and hips, clearing out this space in the body. And as you breathe in these cycles, begin to see how this space shines with clarity. how your breath lightens it up, activates, expands. Notice the ease you feel in the back body, the openness of the front body. And now begin to draw your breath deeper. See if you can draw your breath all the way into the knees, all the way into the elbows. Feeling how your breath begins to cleanse out these new spaces in the body, feeling all the muscles around the thighs, around the upper arms unravel and settle. Feeling the heaviness, the clarity. And now begin to draw your breath all the way into the tips of the toes, the tips of the fingers, the top of the head. Drawing your breath into the full physical body. Feel how the exhales invite ease, any lingering tension drifting out of you. Soft, supple, supported. Now begin to draw your breath beyond the edges of the body. See if you can inhale and inflate all the way to the edges of the room. Feel the whole space around you exhaling, softening, releasing. All of you breathing as one. Feeling the vast nature of your energy. Feel this expansiveness and linger in this space for a few more moments. Enjoying your Shavasana for the rest that it is. I'll mind the time. Your job is to be free. And gently deepening your next inhale. Inviting yourself back into the space slowly, with ease. Becoming aware of the four walls around you, the ceiling above you, and the floor rising up to meet you, to hold you and support you. Inviting movement back in by wiggling fingers and toes. Let that start to grow into circles in the wrists and ankles, and before you know it, you're giving a big stretch. That feels so good to put back on your human suit. And when it feels good to you, you can make your way to a fetal position, lying on either side, cradling the head with the lower arm, and taking a moment to feel how you feel now versus when you first came onto your mat. And thank yourself for every bit of that. So, when you are ready, you can press yourself on up to a seated position, and you will find yourself squarely planted in your day with everything lying before you. My yogis, I want to thank you so much for joining and practicing with me. I hope you enjoy this flow and you feel freer, easier, chill and flow. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that like button for us. It does help us out. And be sure to check out all the classes happening here at Breakout Studios. Fantastic instructors, beautiful souls. It's good vibes to spend your time around, right? If you want to find out more about me, be sure to check out my website, mindful-michael.com. You can also check me out on Instagram at mindfulmichael, all one word. It's a real good time, y'all. I have weekly horoscopes coming out today. You can check that out. I also have a new moon party happening on Zoom tomorrow night. It is a donation-based event. You can check all that info out on my Instagram as well. It's a great time and supporting some great causes. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you join me for other things that are happening in many other spheres of the universe, because there's a lot of fun things happening these days. And with that, I will leave you, y'all. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. As I like to say, you are light, you are love, and you are meant to be here. Take care, y'all. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.